Monument Lab is a public art and history project. It's a citywide exhibition taking place across the city this fall. We have temporary monuments in public places. So that means in 10 squares, public squares and parks throughout the city, artists have created temporary monuments. And in those same 10 public squares and parks, we have temporary labs, that is, practically speaking, a shipping container. And there are students, both high school students and Penn students, who are there together with the community leaders and Monument Lab staff, asking people this question: what is an appropriate monument for the current city of Philadelphia? We think that this is a really interesting question, and one that helps us think about Philadelphia's history, about how we want to remember the past and what that means about changing the present and looking to the future. The team partnered with Mural Arts Philadelphia for this big citywide exhibition. And when we looked at what technology we would need to understand what we knew would be many hundreds of, and it turns out thousands of ideas from people, we turned to the Price Lab for Digital Humanities, and they built a system that would allow people on the ground in labs in 10 public parks in the 5 center city squares and 5 neighborhood parks to take people's ideas, really focus on engaging with people in person, and then scan their ideas on site. And those ideas enter into the online system that the Price Lab helped us build.
Our lab team scans and sends your idea into a data system where it is transcribed and mapped, just like any piece of civic data or city statistic. It then goes live on our website and is shown in a museum at our exhibition hub in the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. Later, it becomes an open data set and is shared in a final report to the city next year.
So we have this interesting data that we can play with, we can make meaning from, we can understand. And so the proposals as they come in are designed to be tagged with the kind of data that the person proposed, and then a little bit about what kind of monument and what they're about. And building that system, the technical system that would allow us to do that on the fly as proposals are coming in, there just wasn't anything out there. That's not, the technology world doesn't have experience building things that assume that your interface will be a clipboard and a Sharpie and a piece of paper. And so Penn students have worked together with the Price Lab and the library to create a system that would help us to do that. A lot of times when we talk about digital humanities, we talk about applying digital tools to humanistic questions and or applying humanistic questions to digital tools. And I think this project in particular has really benefited from both of those, from going in both directions. We wanted the interface to be the whole park and not the screen. And I think that was something we learned from students, and it's something that digital humanities really helps to kind of question what what an interface might be. What emerges when you look at 3,000 proposals or ideas? What stories emerge? That is what we'll be looking at in our kind of next phase. We'll be looking at, and again, not just what stories do we see, but what stories do students see? What stories do our partners see and members of the community see when they look across this data? How can they make meaning from this vast data set? And what will emerge as the kind of lessons that we want to learn from each of these individually and the collection as a collection of data. We have been thinking about how to create a tour of Monument Lab, but Monument Lab will be over. And so we are taking 3D video and augmented reality so that we can begin to think creatively about how can people experience the labs and the works of art as they were, even after the project is over. How can we create a collection that shows the project as it was, but still recognizing that it was temporary and it's gone? And what pieces of it can live into the future, and how can it become sort of part of history in an honest and still creative way?